Hey everyone. So for my interview, I interviewed Ryan Stockton, who is a vice principal at Madera South High School. And Ryan used to be a special education teacher at Washington Union for 10 years. So aside from being a vice principal, he is still overseeing the special education and is the special education administrator at Madera. So Ryan has about 10 years with special education, and out of those 10 years, 6 of those years, he was a department chair of special education. For 5 of those years, he was a site and district special education administrator, and he has 7 years of administration background. So Ryan said that he enjoyed teaching special education because he liked working with the special education children. He said that teaching special ed was fun and predictable since he had different learners all the time. Something new and exciting was always happening. He enjoyed watching them understand and learn things on the daily. Right now, in the position he's in, he is overseeing the special education program, and his clientele are the special ed teachers, the classroom aides, the student advocates that work with kids, school psychologists, along with family members and students. He is focusing on making sure that the aides are in the classroom where they are needed, and that teachers are complying with the IEPs that are needed for the children. He is there to make sure that teachers are providing services where needed and that students are being taken care of properly and have all their needs met. So Ryan mentioned that special education is challenging because you have to teach different lessons based on the kids' levels. He said that a lot of the times, he'll be teaching different subjects throughout the day, and it can be a bit challenging, opposed to your normal K through 6 teacher who's focusing on a certain subject, or all the kids are pretty much at level and they're teaching the same material. So it's definitely very different. The kids are always learning different things, so the days are busy. He did mention that, of course, a credential with special education is needed to become a special ed teacher, and you do not need to continue your education unless you want to pursue something higher. But he did mention that sometimes some districts do require you to do some things here and there. Stockton mentioned that Fresno and Madera County districts do want you to stay up to date on laws regarding special education, since it's very important to stay up to date with the new laws and the rules, with all the legality behind that. He said that new rules and laws are always changing on special education, and that it's important to be up to date, and that if you aren't up to date with the laws, you're potentially at risk for getting yourself or your school sued, since he said that there's lawyers out there who are sometimes targeting schools that are not up to date with special education laws. He says that a lot of the credential classes didn't really prepare him for the job because it was more so by the book, not by how it would be in the classroom. So the courses that did help him out were the ones that explained the different assessments needed and that how to properly do an IEP. He says that IEPs are the heart and soul of special ed, so it's definitely very important that you know how to conduct an IEP and that you know how to give assessments. He definitely mentions that the job is very high demand, especially now since a lot of children are being diagnosed as special ed. He stated that more kids are being diagnosed than before due to behavior. A lot of parents are quick to say that their kids are special ed because of their behavior, and it's just a lot of disciplinary kids that are having to be dealt with, compared to back then when there was a little bit less kids. The turnover rate in special ed is very high since a lot of teachers tend to leave because the workload is a lot compared to your normal K through 6. Teachers don't last in the area, and it's a lot harder than anticipated. So in the next 10 years, he says he sees himself as possibly being a principal or working at a district office. Although he likes what he does, he says he's certain he'd get offered a higher position based on his experience. But, he doesn't really know. So his main words of advice are that it's important to be familiarized with IEPs and to stay current with the laws and legalities of education just to protect yourself and prepare yourself for anything that could possibly happen. Although special ed is challenging, he says it is very rewarding to see the milestones that your students can get. That's all. Thank you.